Okay. So, let's start out with 2 blocks at the top of the mat. And then take your little 3-inch block, your purple block, and we're going to put that between the legs. Okay. Oh, and I've been saying at the beginning of class, instead of having you guys sign waivers, everybody's agreed to be in the YouTube videos. Here you go, your purple block. Yeah, so this one's better because it's the 3 inches. You can use the cork blocks, they're 3.5. All right, so block between the legs all the way up to the groin, put the block long ways. Yep. And then I want you to stand with your feet about hip width apart, a little bit like block width apart. Think of inner spiraling the legs. Don't try to spiral as far and as hard as you can. Just roll a little bit in. Notice how that drops the inner arch down to the mat. Okay? Against that, spread the toes, pick up your low belly, unlock your knees a little bit. Good. Okay. Then I want you to feel like even though you're spiraling in, almost like you're going to send your block back, your feet are pulling the mat apart, and your belly can suck up a little higher. Good. Can you feel that? Good. Inhale, arms come up. Get long in your core. Exhale, hands into prayer. You can straighten the legs if you can keep low belly engaged without glutes engaging. Good job. Keep that inner spiral. Keep low belly lifting away from the inner spiral. So the inner spiral starts sending tailbone back. Low belly lifting pelvic bowl counters that. That makes length and space in the hips. Good. One more time. Inhale this time. You're going to sit down. Keep low belly pulling back. Keep your ribs open, but keep low belly sucking back. Roll to inner feet. Pull the feet apart on the mat. And then exhale, hands straight back. Flat back. And then drop the head down. Keep your hands up. Chin in. Try to bring the arms straight up so that the arms are parallel to the wall in front of you. Roll the shoulders back, opening the chest. Stay rolled to inner foot and pull that apart with feet. Inner spiral legs. Roll shoulders forward. Try to drop your hands as far back behind you as you can. Good. And then bring the arms down. Hands to your blocks. Good. And blocks are a little in front of your shoulders. Drop your chest down into the shoulder girdle. Okay, so if you can't move the shoulder blades together on the back of the rib cage, maybe because your hamstring stretch is holding up here and hips are too tight, blocks need to be higher, or you need a table or something else. Once you've dropped the chest down, stay rolled to inner foot, spread your toes out. Try to lift the toes a millimeter off the floor, just barely lift. Then see if you can bring your big toe down. Just the big toe. That's it. Start dropping your hips as far back as you can, but don't let shoulders come to ears. Keep your shoulders pulled back and your serratus engaged. It's almost like you're holding on the blocks with the shoulder blades so you don't fall back. Good. Keep that big toe down. Now try to put your pinky toe down, but keep the other toes spreading. Good. Okay. And then stay back that far with hips, shoulder blades back, chin into your throat, neck long, middle abs lift a touch, bend your knees deeper. Keeping the hips that far back. Good job. Feel that length in your spine. Okay, now start hugging right hip further back so you can straighten right leg a little bit. You may start to lose your block a little, that's okay. Keep rolling that hip further back, keep shoulder blades back. Bend both knees in the middle and switch. Think of hugging left hip back, straighten the leg further back. Bend both knees in the middle. Good, bring the chest forward again. How we doing? Keep chest dropped down into shoulder girdle. Let's actually move through that a little bit. Outer spiral arms, so biceps face forward. Push down through hands to pick your ribs up. Arms stay straight. Upper back, don't. Suck the belly up a little. Little cat-cow. Then drop back down. Chest drops, belly hangs. Good. Do it again. Pick your ribs up soft. Spread the shoulder blades. Suck the belly up. Pelvic bowl may lift a little. Then pull shoulders back away from ears. Let your hips release. Let the belly hang. Let the ribs drop. One more time. Spread the shoulder blades. Suck the belly up. Drop the head. Feel like your hands are pulling your blocks apart a little bit to get some width across the shoulders and across the neck and engage your serratus more. And then drop back down. Good. Now inner spiral your arms. So your biceps face in toward each other. So usually we outer spiral, biceps face forward. Now we're going to inner spiral, biceps face in. Keeping that inner spiral, put some extra pressure in those bottom 2 thumb knuckles nearest the wrist. And pick your ribs up that way. You should do your chest a little bit more as you don't. Suck the belly up a little higher. Good. Let the head release. And then release hips back, belly drops, chest drops. Good. So stay connected with your core as we do this. Pick your ribs up to neutral. So there's going to be a little bit up. Then lift your right low belly up, right hip comes up, left hip reaching, foot into the floor. Your right foot will hover a couple inches off the ground. That's it, hold. And then bring it back down. Lift your left hip up. Left low belly lifting, roll to the inner right foot a little, then spread your right pinky toe across the mat. Think of lifting low belly, lifting right arch up. Keep the low belly lifted on the left side. Okay, now pick your ribs up higher. Keeping that hip up, try to drop the ribs back down in the shoulder girdle. Keeping the hip up. Good, do it again, pick ribs up higher. Try to bring ribs back down, keeping hip up, bring the foot back down. Good, switch, right hip rolls up from low belly, not from the low back, not from the back of the hip, not from back here. Okay, pick ribs up into shoulder girdle, drop it back down. Good, do it again, pick ribs up into shoulder girdle, drop it back down. Very good, bring the foot back. Last one, left hip up. Pick ribs up into shoulder girdle, chin is in, neck is long. Drop it back down. Last one, pick the ribs up and drop back down. Good. Hips drop back as far as they can. You can counter reach blocks forward a little bit. Make sure shoulders are pulling back away from ears so serratus stay engaged. Top of the head is reaching forward, chin is up into your own throat, making a long neck. Okay. Big toes are staying down. Feet pull the mat apart a little bit to open sitting bones more. So it's almost like you're trying to use your feet to split your mat horizontally wide. Then go ahead and start bending the knees. Try to keep toes spreading across the floor. Keep your back really long, hips reaching back. Good. Once you get there, hold. Bring your arms straight back, even with your core. Good. Now roll your shoulders back, but try to keep your ribs resting on the thighs. And then roll the shoulders forward. Do that again. Roll the shoulders back, open the chest, and then bring the chest up. Good. And come up into chair. Good. Now suck your low belly back. Push into the big toe. Sweep the arms forward, hips back. Spread your fingers. Slide shoulder blades up the sides of the ribs. So your shoulders come to your ears a little, then slide them back down. Then sweep hands back, hips back. Drop your chest to the ground. Good. Arms are going to be in line with the body. And then drop them back as far as you can. Drop your head. Good. Then roll arms out to the sides, palms face down. Come all the way down. Just hang. Let your elbows hang, let your head hang, neck hang. Keep the feet softly pulling the mat apart. Keep your pubic bone reaching back, block reaching back. Inner spiraling legs softly, lifting low belly into that space you're making. Let the head drop. One more breath here. And exhale. Go ahead and bring your hands back to your blocks. Bend the knees again. Drop your chest into the shoulder girdle. Now play with the hips. I want you to feel your big toe, literally, big toe presses down. Suck your low belly up to bring your pelvic bowl up and make space between the belly and the thighs. Then go the other way, pubic bone back. Good. Try not to do it all with your ribs. Try to do it with your low belly. Big toe presses down, literally suck the low belly up to lift pelvic bowl up. Good. Then think of reaching the pubic bone back as pelvic bowl comes down deeper. Good. Okay, now we're going to try to do that with a twist. So you're going to bring the right elbow across to the left knee. Left hand comes into prayer. You're going to push left hand into the right elbow. Bend the knees deep enough so that you're there, so that you've got a shelf. And then suck the low belly under. Push into your big toes. And then flatten it back out again. Do it again. Suck the low belly under. You can squeeze block a little. And then reach pubic bone back again. Last one. Suck low belly under. Keep that pressure from the top hand, left hand into right. And then reach the hips back. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Adjust your block if you're losing it. Good, how are we doing? Exhale, hands into prayer. Same thing, legs inner spiral, so it feels like your head's dispensing the block back. That puts pubic bone back, then lift low belly in opposition to that. Good. Think of your hands softly pressing into each other, especially the thumb knuckles right here. These two thumb knuckles press there to engage your chest. Then elbows forward. Keep the chest engaged, keep the belly lifting. Perfect, there you go. Feel your core, your middle abs, your transverse abs, and the abdominal muscles underneath the ribcage. So as lift up under the ribs without closing the ribs. Good, how are we doing? Now bend the knees, keep that shape. Low belly lifts a little more to keep low back collar. Then roll shoulders back, serratus back, very good. Hips reach further back. Good, let's take left elbow to right knee. Right hand pushing into left, twist. Yep, Suck the middle belly up. Push into the big toe to help you lift that. And then reach pubic bone back. Good. Do that again. Suck middle belly up. Feel that pressure from right hand to left. And then pubic bone back. Get longer in your spine. Shoulders roll back. Good. Suck the middle belly up. Let shoulders hollow. Collarbone round. And then roll shoulders back. Good. Inhale all the way up. Very good, guys. Exhale, hands into prayer. Good. Grab your TheraBand. Use a strap if you're at home. It's just stretchy. It's not quite the same. Okay. Okay. Bend your knees a little. Same thing we started with. Inner spiral the legs back to lift the low belly up. Keep your glutes soft. No squeezing the sitting bones together. Feel like your feet are pulling the mat apart a little bit to make more space in the hips to lift low belly more. Keeping that shape. Hold on to your TheraBand about mat width apart, maybe wider if you know you have tight shoulders. Thumbs hold on, fingers reach forward. Turn so palms face out. Palms pull out to help engage your serratus. Shoulders are down. Suck the belly up more. Good. You guys feel that? Very nice. See if you can bring your arms up. Keep the chest engaged, the pecs. Pull the collarbone into a round shape. Try to keep that as you lift the arms up. Chin stays forward. See if you can bring the arms all the way through your range of motion. Good. If it was tight or you had to make funny little adjustments, widen your neck. Okay, bring it back up. Good. So you're going to use core to stabilize as you roll shoulders. So again, if it was tight or you had to make funny little adjustments with hands or shoulders to get through, widen your hold. Okay? So find wherever you get a stretch. Palms pull out. Shoulder blades come off the back. Core has to pull back against that or else everything just goes forward. So abs pull back. Shoulder blades slide off the back. Chest lifts hands a little. Bend knees, lift low belly up. Bring your arms up. Chest lifting collarbone. Stay long. Pull out on your strap. Go slowly through your range of motion. Keep the low belly back. So don't let everything arch. That'll punch your low back. Good. And then inhale on your way back up. Exhale down. Good. You feel that? So the big no-no here is when your upper back opens and ribs open to let the tail arch. That's going to hurt your low back. Keep low belly. Good. All right, here we go. We're going to do 3. Inhale, pulling out on strap to feel serratus. Exhale back. Low belly in. Oops. Inhale, bring it up. I didn't see it. Exhale forward. 2 more. Inhale up, bend the knees more if you're having trouble dropping tail. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Good. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Now really round. Suck the belly back, ribs back, reach the arms forward. Good. Bring the strap behind you. About the same width you just had. Maybe a little more narrow. Bend your knees. Sitting bones go back. Chest goes forward. Roll the shoulders back. Try to bend the knees until you can touch your floating ribs to your thighs. So really bend it. Crap where you have to bend. Then start bringing your arms back. Rest your ribs on your thighs. See how far back you can drop your arms with this extra width. Should be farther than whatever you should do. Huh? Hands. Yeah, keep the fingers long for now. Good. Okay, then roll the arms as far back as you can. See if you can straighten legs a little. Keeping ribs and thighs connected. Let your shoulder heads roll forward. Bring your head back to touch. That's it. Crunch the neck. And drop your head all the way down. Now reach your arms up to the ceiling. Shoulders roll back. Good. And then drop forward one more time. All the way to your shoulder strap. Round the shoulders forward. Chin in. Breathe. Shift your weight in your toes. Feel your feet pull the mat sideways apart, horizontally apart to open sitting bone. Lift your low belly into the space you made and then roll the shoulders back. Reach the hands to the ceiling so your neck stays long. Good. And bring it all the way in. Good job. There we go. Everything's warmed up. Get ready your strap. Get ready your block. Okay, so let's continue. Open a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to bring left foot forward, right foot back. Parsvottanasana. So a real short stance, not a long stance here. If you know you're tight in your hips, you're going to want a coffee table or the higher blocks, the big blue blocks. You're going to want your hands up here more. Okay, check this out. See how you go. Okay, the back foot is 45 degrees turned out. A little bit turned out, not too much. Front foot is parallel to the sides of the mat. Shift your weight into your back foot. Let that right hip open, like your hips are facing right. But don't crunch your left shoulder blade down to your left hip. Keep that left side open too. Then roll to the inner arch of your right foot, outer arch of your front foot, left foot, and bring your right hip forward, shift your weight into your left hip. Good, so your right hip drops forward, left hip should feel like it's rolling back a little bit, left leg outer spiral. Okay, shoulders softly pull back, middle abs suck up here. Inhale, and exhale, drop your ribs down and think of lengthening them more forward. One more like that, inhale, pick the ribs up in the shoulder blades. Exhale, lengthen ribs forward and down. Good, now shift your weight into the right foot, let the hips open again. Keep your left hip under though, don't let your hip come to your ear. That left hip back. Spread your left toes across the mat. Think about putting your big toe and pinky toe down as far apart as you can on that left foot. Keep pulling your left hip back. As you come forward, right hip rolls forward, right leg inner spirals. Left hip does like an outer spiral. Shoulders back, top of the head forward, chin in, neck long, chin up into your throat. And feel your middle abs pull long around that hip. Good, then roll the right hip back, weight goes into the right foot, left hip stays long. See if you can keep your chest right over that left leg. Bend the back knee a little bit. Keep the toes grabbing the mat, left toes spreading. Good, and then come back up. Roll the right hip forward. Good, drop chest down into shoulder girdle. See if you can bend elbows, start bringing the back very flat, down lower toward the leg. If it's too much stretch, you can just drop the right hip back a little. Breathe. 2 more breaths here. Feel your feet push the mat apart. So the left foot's digging into the floor, toes spreading, and trying to push the mat forward from ball of the foot. Right foot, inner and outer foot both grab the mat and try to push the mat back. See if that doesn't make more space in your hips so you can fold deeper. Then bring the upper body up, straight arms. Lift your belly up, ribs up, then roll the right hip back. Good. Then drop the chest back down, come over that front leg. Try to keep your chest square over the front leg as you fold. It's a different stretch. It's an easier fold. It doesn't go up to the back of the hip as much. Then bring the body up. Last one, roll right hip forward, left hip back, core pulling long. And then stay there. See if you can bring your left arm forward. Keep your left hip pulling back, right hip forward, left arm reaching long. Good. And then bring that down. Roll your right hip back. Keeping your right hip back. Stay in the inner foot and the pinky toe. So big toe pulls down, other toe spread and grab the mat. Bring your right arm forward. Keep your right hip back. So really long on that right side. Good. And bring it back down. Now come to the middle. Right hip comes forward, but not so far that it passes left. They're right in between. You're not back. You're not forward. You're in the middle. Hips are square. Feel your left foot push the mat a little forward, right foot push the mat back. Both hips taking equal weight. You can put a soft bend in the front knee if you need to. Chin up into your throat, neck long. Bring your hands straight back. Try to keep your left hip back. Keep your right foot pushing back, left foot pushing forward. Bring your body all the way up. Good. Keep that right hip forward, left hip back. Bend the front knee a little bit and see how far forward you can come into that lunge. Keeping the right hip forward, left hip back. So it's a little baby warrior. Good. And then bring it back up. Keeping the legs straight, sweep arms back, hips back. You can soften front knee if you feel it at all there. And come down as far as you can over the left hip. The more you drop the right hip forward, the deeper you're going to feel that stretch in your left hip. Good. Bring your hands to your blocks. Very nice. Shift your weight into left foot, step the right leg up. Good. So think warrior 3, not standing split. So don't open your right hip right now. Drop your right hip down. Reach through your right heel. Spread the toes out. Good. See if you can bring your left arm off the block. Reach straight forward. Pick the core up in the middle. Suck the belly up. Suck the ribs up. Try to pick your ribs up out of that right shoulder blade. And then drop them back down. Bring your left hand down. Good. Roll the right hip open now. Tip back a little bit. Maybe you can get rid of your left block and bring left hand to the floor for full arch thrust. Open your hips and ribs to face right. If you feel balanced, you can bring your right arm up. Feel that left foot spreading across the mat. Spread your right toes out. Make sure your right leg's not out to the right or, biggest mistake, back to the left. We don't want that left hip coming up to your ear. Keep the right leg where you can see it. Good. And bring your hands back to your blocks. Roll the right hip back down. Bring the foot right next to the left. Don't put it down. Keep the hip engaged. And then cross your right leg over your left leg. So open it back up a little bit so I'm a little more intuitive here. So your right leg just came across the left. Try to get your heels on the same line and your toes on the same line if your hips will allow that. Good. And then put a soft bend in your knees. Walk your blocks over to the left. Take your left heel, the back heel, right a little bit. So you're opening the heel away from the other heel. And then drop your hips back and right. Bend the right knee. Think of outer spiraling the left hip. So that heel, even though it's stuck to the mat, is trying to go further right. That should help you open that left hip more. Keep right knee dropping forward so the right hip drops forward with it. Let your head drop. Breathe. Should feel a stretch in the left hip. Stay in the inner arch of your left foot. Feel the belly lift a little more. Find your breath. 2 more. Good. See if you can take your blocks a little further to the left. If you've got more room or enough room, you can bring right elbow to the inside of the knee and twist here. So right elbow to the inside of your right knee. Left hand comes into prayer. Push left hand into right. Twist. Good. Feel both inner feet trying to hold on to the mat. Suck the belly up. And then flatten. Good. Come back to your blocks. Should be a pretty big hip stretch. Bring blocks forward right in front of you. Heels square back off a little bit. The left knee bends into the back of the right knee. And then your right hip pulls back to plug both hips back. Drop chest into shoulder girdle. Breathe. Okay. Bring your blocks over to the right. Drop your hips back and left. Your left heel can come a little further right again if it helps you open that hip. Right knee reaches forward across, twisting. Left hip is outer spiraling, left heel reaching right, left inner foot into the mat, let the head drop, get long in your core. Good, how are we doing? Breathe. Good. And then see if you can take your twist here. Left elbow into right knee, hands in prayer, push right hand into left twist, you can bend the back knee if it helps. Good, feel both inner feet working for your balance. Core is where balance comes from. And bring hands back to blocks. Beautiful, guys. Bring it back to the middle. And just see if you can drape down over this stretch. Think of your right knee as softly pushing the left leg back. Trying to straighten the left leg for you. Ribs coming as long down the thighs as you can. Breathe. Shift weight a little more into the left foot, inner arch. And then shift weight a little more to the right foot. Feel the hip shift with that. Shift weight into left foot, let left hip drop back and right. Shift weight into right foot, right hip hugs back and come to the middle. Good, hands to blocks. Keep your right foot on the mat, take your left foot straight back and up. Go ahead and open the hip to start. Spread your left toes out. Then roll your left hip down so it's even with the right. Keep the leg high though. Then roll the left hip even lower, like you're bringing left frontal hip into right groin. Good, then square it off so hips are even. Flex the left foot, reach back through the heel, bring your right arm forward. Get long through core, pick your ribs up into the shoulder girdle, drop them back down. One more, pick them up, keep heel lifted, arm lifted, bring your hand back to the block. Good, now roll your left leg open by reaching through inner arch of the right foot. Good, don't let your left leg go way behind you, that brings your right hip to the shoulder, crunches up the right side. You want to feel like your right heel is hugging into the midline to help pull your right hip back long the whole time. If you can move your block and bring right hand to the ground, either tented or flat, go ahead and do that. Open up your chest to face left. Think of keeping ribs in the body. And if you've got your balance, you can bring the left arm up. Find your breath. Good. Keep the toes spread. Good. Bring your hand back to your block. Let down hip drop. Good. Bring it in. Bring the left foot next to the right. Don't put it down. Suck the low belly up. Pick that hip up and open more than the other one. Very nice. Good. Let's take the leg back one more time. Open up the hip. Reach it up. Drop the hip back down. And then bring leg in. Cross it over to the right. Very good. Heels, if they can, are on the same line. Toes on the same line. If your hips allow for that stretch. If not, you'll get where you can get. Okay, let's walk your blocks over to the right. Take your right heel, the back heel, and open it out to the left side of the mat more. So the inner feet, or the outer feet make a triangle. Drop your hips back and left. Bend the front knee, the right knee forward. Let the hip drop with it. So your left hip gets to reach back a little further by itself. Okay, hug your left hip back and left. Think of that left heel going a little further, hug your right hip back and left. Think of that right heel going a little further left on the mat. Stay rolled into the inner right foot to feel low belly lift. Let the head drop, so you don't go in your neck here. Keep picking the back of the head up, you're going to sore neck. Breathe. More breath. Keep letting your left knee bend and your left hip drop forward. It will deepen the stretch in the right hip. Okay. See if you can bring your blocks a little bit further over to the right. And then if you want to go further, your left elbow can come inside the left knee, right hand into prayer, right elbow pushing into left to help you twist and open. At the same time, your right hip hugs back. Breathe, both inner feet fighting for their balance, holding the mat, shoulder rolling down. Breathe. Keep your chin tucked into your throat, back of the neck long to pull middle abs right between your ribcage and pelvis out of the hips. And bring the body back down. Hands back to the blocks. Come to the middle. Re-square the feet. Very good. Bend the front knee, and then bend your back knee into the back of the front knee. Feel your left hip plug back, plugging right hip longer, further back, sitting bones back and apart. Okay, again, feet try to pull toward each other. That's really feet pulling apart, so bones apart. Drop chest down into shoulder girdle, chin in, top of the head forward, so neck is long, shoulders back. Breathe. See if you can round down over the legs. Let the head drop. Let the front leg and straighten the back leg a little bit. Roll to both inner feet. And bring the body up. Walk your blocks over to the left. That right heel can turn a little further left if you want. And your front foot can too. The heels can go away from each other. Drop hips back and right. Bend the front knee, the left knee. Let that left hip hang forward and your right hip hugs back more. Roll to the inner arch of your right foot. Keep your head dropped through the arms. If you can rest your ribs on that left thigh, go ahead and do it. Breathe. Two more breaths. Stay roll to both inner feet so you can feel low belly lift. And bring it up. Good. Let's go for that twist. You can bring blocks further left and hold there, like you're really turning a corner with those ribs. Or bring right elbow to the left knee, hands into prayer. Roll to both inner feet. Left hand pushes into right to twist you. Keep the hips back. Try not to round too much. Breathe. Suck the belly up. And down. Good. Bring your hands back to your blocks. Nice. Lay these blocks to the middle. You can take one more forward bend. Heels can come back together first. Drop the head down. Left knee pushes back softly on the right. Feet pull toward each other, which is really feeling like pulling that apart, sitting bones apart. And then bring it up. Keep left foot into the mat. Bring your right leg straight back. Roll the hip open. Reach the leg back. See if you can tip further back. So hip way behind that front heel. And then come on down with the right leg. Switch left leg back. Roll the hip open. See if you can tip your weight further back. Keeping the right side long. If you crunch your hip to your shoulder, it's not going to work. You have to keep the hip back and the chest open. Good job. Bring it back down. How are we doing? Okay, let's split the legs. Right foot outside your blocks. Left foot back on the mat. Good. And then bend the knee open. Drop the hips down. Good job. Did we do Parsvottanasana on both sides? Did we do this on both sides?
You're doing great. Just keep going.
Don't worry about it.
We won't worry about that.
All right, go ahead and drop the hips down. I think we might got it. We gotta go back and pick up the other side. Push through the front foot, bring your hips back. Push through your back toes to really activate that foot. Bring the heel high. Then go ahead, drop the heel down. See if you can pick the toes up. Probably not gonna happen, but it activates the foot. Do it again, push through the back toes. Good. Hug your right hip back, left hip forward, but stay right. Then bend the front knee, keep your back leg and hip long and strong. Come down like one straight line, then drop hips even deeper. You can bend elbows to go a little deeper into your stretch. Good, and bring it up and back. One more time, roll the back hip open first this time. So left hip open, then roll left hip forward, right hip back, and roll to the outer arch of the right foot a little to help open that hip. Keep the back leg strong, bend the front knee, shoulders pulled back, keep your core long as you drop the hips. You can bend the elbows to go a little deeper if you want a bigger stretch. Good, and bring it up and back. Very nice. Lift your right block, heel toe your right foot inside the block. Put your block back down. Good, so now your feet are hip width apart. Bend the front leg, keep your back hip really long and strong. Feel like the sitting bones are going apart. Don't close sitting bones and hold them up. Open, reach the heel a little back, reach the knee a little forward. Good, and put the back knee down. You can roll over the toes. Good, bring your right hand to your right knee, bring your left elbow across to twist. Good, hands in prayer. Drop into your front foot, so really come forward into that foot. Nice. Right hand pushes into left to help you pick your ribs up and bring your ribs to your prayer. Very nice. Keep your left hip dropping forward. Left shoulder slides up now toward your ear. Just open those ribs up a little more. And then pull back down. Good. See if you can tuck back toes. Come back up with the back leg. Very nice. That's okay. Bring it back down if you're up. Hands to the block. Press into the back leg. Bring your hips back. Good. And then, let's see, this is the side we stick for part of Uttanasana. Bring your left heel in short stance. That's right? Yeah.
Correct.
We did right foot forward earlier. Yeah, good. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna roll your hips back, left hip open, your hips face left. Then shift your weight into the front foot. The right leg outer spirals a little. Right hip widens and goes out to the right as your left hip comes forward. And then roll back. If you have trouble finding that, roll to the inner arch of your back foot, outer arch of your front foot, roll left hip forward, right hip back. Then roll to inner front foot, outer back hip foot to open. Now once you're open, don't let your hip come out and crunch the right ribs up. Keep the hip rolled under, so you still have that wrapping back feeling even in your back. Roll left hip forward, right hip back, shoulders back a little, lengthen your core forward. And then roll it back. One more time, shoulders back, lengthen core forward by bringing serratus back. Pick your ribs up into the shoulder girdle, and then drop back down. One more time, pick the ribs up, hold, keep the belly lifted, then roll the hip back, and drop back down. Good. Pick ribs up again, middle abs lift, roll left hip forward, right hip back, drop it back down. Should help you deepen. Staying forward, try to bend your elbows and drop down into that hip stretch. If it's too big a stretch, you can bend the knee, but before you bend the knee, roll your left hip back a little, it'll lessen the stretch. If that's not enough, then you can bend the knee. Shoulders soften, elbows back, breathe. Feel that front foot, the ball of the foot ground into the mat, toes spreading, like that front foot's gonna push the mat forward, hug the right hip back. Back foot's trying to roll a little to inner arch. Pinky side of the foot still grabs the mat, and bring the chest up. Good. Roll back to the back leg, weight is in the back foot without bringing hip to shoulder. Right hip is still rolled under. Bend the back knee. Keep your right toes really spreading and flattening across the mat. Keep your right hip pulled under as you sit back, like you're dragging the foot backwards on the mat. Re-straighten that back leg. Roll the hip forward one more time. Good. And then back. Okay, while you're back, now keeping the hip under, drop the chest down toward the leg. Keep the ribs long. Get your back foot, push the mat back, front foot, push the mat forward a little. Roll your left hip further forward if you want a bigger stretch. Bring the chest back up. Good. Now find a happy medium between left hip and right hip. You're not all the way forward where left hip passes the plane of the right, and you're not all the way back where left hip is behind the right. You're right in the middle. Hips are even. So you feel like you could go either way from there. Right foot pushing forward, left foot pushing back. You can unlock the right knee if you feel tension there. Hands go straight back. Good. Suck the ribs up, core up a little, and then roll shoulders back, core open. Bring it all the way up. strong legs. Back hip is rolling forward, right hip is pulling back. Inhale. Bend the front knee without letting the back foot rise. Suck the belly up. Good. A baby warrior. And reach straighten the leg. Sweep the arms back, hips back, and come on down. Good job, guys. Very nice. Step that foot back. High plank on your blocks. Inner feet touch. Pick your ribs up into the shoulder girdle. Suck the belly up. And then drop the chest back down. One more time. Pick the ribs up. Serratus. Hold it up there. Bring the left knee in. Turn it out left. Step your left foot forward. Good job. Outside the blocks. Sorry, I should have said that. There you go. Okay, keep the back foot strong. Straighten the front leg. Okay, let's go ahead and drop that back heel down to the mat. Think of lifting your toes up. It may not happen. It's a lot of work though. The right toes. Lift the back toes up. And then push into the toes. Come high on the toes. Roll your right hip forward. Left hip back. Staying left. Don't cheat right when you do that. That avoids the stretch. Stay left. Then bend your left knee. Keep the back leg strong. Dropping the hips down into that stretch. If you want a bigger stretch, you can bend elbows. Let the body descend a little deeper. Good. Then bring it back. Pushing through the front leg. Okay, roll your right hip open. Hips face right. Try not to bring that left hip to your ear. Roll right hip forward. Left hip back. Bend the front knee. Dropping into your stretch. You can bend elbows to drop a little deeper. Keep the back foot strong. Bring it back up. Last one, roll the right hip open. Good. Roll the right hip forward, left hip back. Bend the front knee, drop it down. There you go. Okay, this time you're going to keep the hips up. Lift your left block. Heel toe the left foot inside the block. Put your block back down. There you go. Bend the front knee. Keep your feet should be hip width apart, by the way. When you bend the front knee, back leg stays straight and strong so the back hip gets to open. There's no tucking here. Good, and then push through front leg, sitting bones back. Try to keep hips even. So you're not open with right hip, you're not forward with right hip, they're even. Just like we played with a minute ago. Sitting bones back, chest and ribs forward. Bend the front knee one more time. Lower the back leg, keep it long and strong. And then go ahead and put the knee down, roll over the toes. Good, bring your right elbow to your left knee to twist. Your left hand can help by pushing leg across. Hands in prayer. You gotta go further forward. Lean into it, lean into it, lean into it. There you go. You made front foot may need to come back. Yep. So you want your knee to pass the heel. There's no balance in the heel. Plus, my hips are engaged, front of the hip closing here. If my knee passes my heel, I'm in the metatarsals, which is where balance lives. Plus, I've got this fully extended, right hip really dropping into the stretch. Okay? Then let your right shoulder come up, purposely opening the ribs here. Then left hand pushes into right. Pick the ribs up, bring your sternum to your prayer. So your hands push into the leg to help you twist. Breathe, keep the right hip forward. Feel your left knee softly push against the right elbow. Sock the belly up a little, and then drop deeper into your stretch. Good. You want to tuck toes and come up, tuck the back toes. Reach through the back leg. Keep it reaching away from the front knee. Good. And you can bring me back down. Bring your hands back to blocks. Push into the front leg and come back. How we go? Okay? Alright, go ahead and set that front foot back into a high plank. Inner feet touching, belly lifting. Good. Reach the heels back. And then reach them all the way up. Try to roll all the way over your toes if you've got that. Roll back. Reach the heels back. Come all the way up. Come as far forward as you can. Reach it back. Good. And step your feet under you. Very nice. Good. Let's take feet wider than the mat if you can. You have to turn sideways. That's fine. So you're on your mat. Actually, I guess I'll do that too. You can see a little better. Okay, so taking feet nice and wide. Heels a little wider than toes. So you're a touch pigeon toe, not too much. Lift the outer arch of the feet. Shoulders away from ears. Drop your chest down into shoulder girdle. Then start tipping your hips back behind your heels as far as you can. Good. Hands pulled back on blocks from serratus, shoulders down. Shoulders pulling down into blocks. And then bend your knees. Try to open the knees, but keep outer feet lifted. Should feel a pretty big stretch in your hips. Good. If you're low enough, you can come hands to the floor. Keep chest dropping into shoulder girdle. Good. And if you're really low, you can come elbows to the floor. Wherever you're at, breathe. Try to keep those knees open, feet flat. A lot of work in outer ankles. You can lift the outer foot still, or you can put it down and grab the mat to help you open the knees more. Play with feet. Roll to the inner feet, lift the outer feet, suck the belly back, pubic bone back more, and then roll to outer feet, open knees a little more. Sit hips deeper. Good. Bring it back to your hands. Heel toe the feet in a touch if you're at your widest possible stance. Walk your hands over to the left. See if you can put your your right hand on your left ankle and bring your other arm straight up, or maybe you can bring it around to a half line. Bend the bottom elbow to twist you a little further. Bring it back to the middle. Go over to the other side. Left hand to right ankle. Right arm can either go up, around to a half line to help you twist deeper. Whatever works. Breathe. If your bottom elbow can touch the floor, you can use that to pull you deeper. Bring it back to the middle. Hands down, chest up, bend the knees again. See how deep you can sit here. Good. And then heel toe your feet back in. And let's stack up the blocks. How are you? Good. Okay, have a seat on your blocks. Good. Sit all the way to the front edge of your blocks. And then you're going to keep your feet about as wide as your mat, or a little wider than shoulders. Tip forward on your blocks. So off to the side. Think about actually having your blocks raise off the mat, tip forward. Yeah. So you really sit to the front and bring your feet forward a little more. Feet forward, feet forward, feet forward. Feet away out in front so you can tip really into it. Okay. Once you tip forward, elbows inside the knees, hands come into prayer. Try to make one straight line from elbow to elbow. Yep, that's it. And then open and lift your toes. Try to bring the big toe back down to the mat. Big toe down, other toes up. Knees softly hug in against your elbows. If your elbows are in one straight line, they can't go anywhere. They just get stuck. Press into your thumbs, round your chest a little. Now keep the pressure in the feet without sitting your blocks down. Suck your low belly up out of the hips. Good. And then flatten it out again. Get long. Do that again. Roll to inner foot, lift outer foot. Knees hug in a touch. Suck your low belly up around your low back. Shoulders can come forward around upper back too. And then lengthen ribs forward as you come down. Let your toes come down. Let your knees open more. So you can get elbows in front of shins. And pull back on shins to bring body further forward. Good job. Just feel that switch in hips. Bring your toes down. Okay. You can slide your elbows as far down as you want in this shape. You feel like you're pretty deep and you want to go deeper. Bring hands to the back of the head. Elbows hanging down toward the mat. Roll to inner feet a little bit. Keep feet grabbing the mat. Lift your middle abs just enough so the spine can drape down on either side of that. Do it again. Inhale. Exhale, try to open knees. Roll to outer foot as you lift the middle ab. Drape the spine. And then bring your blocks back. Slowly roll it up. Good. All right, let's bring your right leg back. Tuck the knee. Okay. And left foot on the mat pretty close so you can sit back further on your blocks. You don't feel like you're going to fall off. And we've done this before. It's been a little while. I've had some other things we've been playing with. But you're going to come forward, body inside the leg. And then bring your left elbow in front of the left shin, right elbow out to the side. Okay. So you really gotta try to get elbow in front of shin in order to make this work. And you have to have your elbow right above the hand, so you're actually making a shelf with that upper arm. Okay. From there, think of rolling that left shoulder back, pushing to the top of the right foot to pick it up, and then keep rolling shoulder back to lift your hip up and back. Yeah. At the same time, as the serratus pull the shoulder back, think about pulling ribs forward. Maybe you can lift that left foot up so you have all your balance onto the left arm. Lean into your left hand a little deeper. Maybe the right hand can come off the mat. Find your breath. Flatten the fingers. And bring your hand down. Bring the foot down. Sit back onto your blocks. Good job. Stay there. You should be aligning. Okay. From there, we're going to move over to the right. Right leg is still back. I want your right sitting bone to hang off the right side of the block. So you actually have your glute sitting bone kind of hanging there. Okay? Then knee is right in front of hip, left leg comes across. Go ahead and interlace fingers on that knee and suck the belly back, hang back a little bit. Feel your ribs open in the back, shoulder blades open off the back ribs. Then pull shoulder blades together, sit up, and then hang it back again. Suck the belly back. Keep holding on with your right hand, bring your left hand back, tenting the fingers. Good. Pull the right leg across a little bit with the strength of the arm and the serratus, a little bit of elbow wide, and then twist with the core sucked in. If this is too low and you need a block back here, you can put a block under the hand. Good. Breathe. Suck the belly back as you twist, chin in, head down, and bring it back up. Going a little deeper, push that left knee across further. Right elbow comes as far across as you can get it. Get that knee up into the armpit if you can. Left hand comes into prayer. Other way, do it. Switch. Yes. That's the twist. Good. Stay right on top of the foot. So you should be looking down at shoulder, knee, shin, foot in one straight line. Push the left hand into the right to twist. Lean back a little bit over that leg. And then you can twist a little further. Keep the bottom knee reaching forward and right. Twisting deeper. Breathe. Keep your chin in, neck long, back belly sucking back. Good. If you want to go further, work that knee further under the shoulder. You can either drop hand down and try to reach through the hole or the bind. If you find the bind, you can pick up the foot. No takers. All right, if not, bring your hand to the floor. Bring your left hand to the floor. Okay, there you go. You're going to have to plop a little bit. The easiest way is to keep your right elbow pinning that left leg across. Then bring left hand, flop it a little. Then keep the elbow pinning the knee back. Put your right hand down. Good, so you're really twisting. Maybe this is all you do. Just use the elbow to pin the knee across. Try to work the ribs past the thigh. If that's easy enough, you can come up off your block. Maybe lengthen the leg out. And eventually you can pick up back leg for the arm balance. Any piece of this that you're at, stay and breathe. And bring it back up. Very good. Bring that left foot up high on the thigh. You're going to try to keep your foot all the way out past the leg and use toes wrapping around. Drop the knee forward as much as possible. Good. Suck the belly back. You can either bring your hand to the floor or a block to drop the knee deeper, letting gravity help you, and then take belly up away from that. Or if you've got the room, come all the way forward. No? More good time? All right. Stay where you're at. Good. And then keep the knee dropped. Okay, come out of your half lotus, and let's switch sides. So now the left knee is going to go back, and the right leg comes out of it. Good. Okay, sitting bones can be just centered for now. Bring the body inside the leg. Try to come down as much as you can. Try to think of bringing your upper body as low down that right groin and shin as possible. Then bring your right elbow out to the right. Elbow a little forward, hand back. Hand is outside the foot, fingers facing forward, left elbow back. Shoulders roll back like you're trying to elbow that hip back to bring ribs further forward, and then pick it up. Keep rolling the right shoulder back. That helps you plug the hip up and back and ribs forward. They come apart. If that's easy, pick up the foot. Bend the elbow a little more. Sit into that right hand a little more and bring your left hand back. Breathe. Hand back, foot to the floor, and have a seat. Good. Okay, sit over to the left on your block. So your left sitting bone's hanging off the block. Think slouch. Let your low belly suck back. Don't keep your hip flexors engaged here, or you're not going to get this twist to happen. Bring right foot across the left. Foot is parallel to the side of the mat. The knee and the foot create a boundary for each other. They can pull into each other. Hold on to the knee with hands interlaced. Sock your low belly back. Shoulder blades spread, ribs open, chin back. And then pull shoulder blades together. Do it again. Sock the belly back. Keep your left hand there. Bring your right hand back. Twist it. Other way. There you go. Roll the shoulder back as you twist. Other elbow open. Suck the belly in. Your left knee reaches forward and into that right foot to help you twist a little deeper. You're pulling across underneath. Breathe. Two more breaths. Last one. And bring it back up. Let's deepen that twist. Lean over the foot, so your shin should be parallel to the wall, so you actually can kind of stand in that foot. Push the leg across with your right arm, the left elbow comes across. Hands in prayer. Lean back, like you're gonna fall backward off the block. Push into the right hand pushes the left hand down. So you're leaning left, not really back so much. Inhale in here. As you exhale, your left knee reaches forward and into the right foot. Suck the belly up as your right hand pushes left hand forward. Good. You can even lift the right elbow up, shoulder a little hollow to help open the right serratus and ribs more. And come back. Let's take it a little deeper. Shove that knee way up under the arm. And then if you can drop the hand back. Shoulder has to roll forward to get through the bind. If that's not going to happen, you can do it on the other side of the jump. If that's not going to happen, keep your elbow plugging the knee back, like you're elbowing it out of your way. Okay? Then try to bring your ribs past that thigh a little bit. The right hand is going to reach for the ground. You may have to clock a little. And then your left hand keeps pinning the knee back. Hand comes to the mat. And then lean over that. So maybe that's where you are. You're just rolling the shoulder back, pinning the knee back, bring your ribs forward past the thigh. Maybe you're going to be able to come up, keeping the elbow back, pick up leg, pick up back leg. If not, wherever you're at, breathe. And then come on up. Good. Let's half lotus that right leg. So hold on to ankle with left hand. Pull it up to where the leg meets the hip. And drop the knee forward. Keep your foot wrapped around the leg. Up there. Okay, and then softly drop knee back. Suck belly away. Good. If you want to add gravity to the picture, you can lean forward to floor or to block. Leaning into it helps the knee drop to the mat and suck the belly up away from that. There we go. Now lift your belly. There you go, and drop the knee. Good. Keep the foot active. Good. And bring it back up. Good. Take that foot out of it. Both feet forward. Hips to the front of your blocks again. And then walk your hands back. Fingers facing forward. Shoulders. And once your hands are back there, you're going to lift the hips up, bring your tailbone forward. So your sacrum is on the blocks. So you should be balanced. More forward, more forward, more forward. Get on your blocks. Much more to me. Good, bring your feet forward. There you go. Okay. Keeping that, roll your shoulders forward. Press into your hands. Try to straighten the arms. It's going to stretch your wrists because there's a steep angle in the wrists. Keeping shoulders rolled forward, can you bend elbows back a little bit against that? If your shoulders roll back as soon as you bend elbows, that's not it. Gotta keep shoulders anchored as elbows bend out to the side. Feel your hands try to pull the mat horizontally apart to engage serratus. And suck the ribs back. Try to get your upper spine to round. Feet can push a little bit to tip blocks back if that helps you round the spine more. Chin in. And then let blocks come down. Press into arms till they straighten. Roll forward. Roll shoulders back. Open up the ribs. Keep the low belly in now. And then roll shoulders forward. Roll hips back, ribs back, chin in. Top of the head to the ceiling. Bend elbows back a little bit. Elbows are wide. Try to spread shoulder blades apart. Suck the belly back. You don't have to tip your blocks. Good. Let the block come forward. Push into arms. Roll on the hips. Suck the low belly up and roll shoulders back. Open ribs. And then roll shoulders forward, hips back, round the spine. Keep pressure in hands, especially thumb side of the hand. Feel like you're spinning hands in toward the thumb. Elbows out. Good. And come back. Turn the hands backwards. You may need to walk hands further back to keep the shoulders stretched. Roll your shoulders forward, bend elbows pretty much right away so you don't hyperextend the arms. Feel like you're pulling the mat to the back of the ribs rounding to the mat. Don't lay the head back. It's going to get into your neck. Chin in. Top of the head to the ceiling. Shoulders round forward, ribs round back. There we go, breathe. See if you can hold this and just roll shoulders back with nothing else changing. And then roll shoulders forward. Do it again, roll shoulders back, top of head is forward, roll shoulders forward. Good, let blocks come down. Straighten arms a bit, roll forward. Outer spiral arms, then rebend elbows to protect them. Shoulder blades coming together, ribs open. Then roll shoulders forward, hips back, bend your elbows, widen elbows. Thumb side of the hand takes a lot of pressure. Knees hug in a little, suck the belly back. Then heels turn in, toes turn out. And then bring it back up. Walk your hands forward. Good. And then go ahead and stay on the very front of your blocks, feet wide, elbows inside blocks, tip it forward. And then you can either stay here in your prayer and play with that, pushing the feet, sucking belly back, cat-cow in here, or round forward, hands behind the head. Feel like your ribs are going long. You're not closing ribs to come forward. You're lifting middle abs inside of ribs, transverse abs, and that's the apex, that middle back. Then your back drapes over that little bit of lift. So knees can softly hug in and middle abs lift to let your back release more. And let the knees open so you can get those ribs a little further forward through the legs. Breathe. Chin drop. And bring your blocks back. Roll it up. Okay? One more here. Take it back, fingers facing forward. Feet right under knees, hands right under shoulders. Take your hips over to the right so your right glute is literally hanging off the right side of the block. Okay? Bend your elbows a little bit. Take your right hand a little wider. Lean into the right arm. Shoulder forward, elbow wide. Then take your knees left. It's a little twist. Lift the outer arch of the right foot. And you can cross left knee over to twist bigger. Pull the knee across. Okay. Breathe. Left shoulder rolling forward, right shoulder rolling back. Good. Uncross the leg, bring it up. Your hips left. Left glute hanging off the block. Start by lifting outer left foot. So lift the pinky side of that foot. Then take it across. Bend your left elbow. Really lean into that left hand. You can even walk the left hand over a little further to deepen it. Good. And then if you want to add, you can cross the right leg over. Pull the left knee across. Right shoulder rolls forward. Left shoulder reaching back. Breathe. Don't let pelvic bowl pop up. You'll feel it in your low back. Keep your low belly in. Right shoulder forward helps with that. Uncross the leg, bring it back. Good, walk it up. How are we doing? One more time, release neck and back. Come forward, hands behind the head, even if you didn't before. You can either rest elbows on the knees and keep working on chin up into throat, back of head up into hands to lengthen the neck, or you can start rounding forward, tip your blocks into it, open knees, breathe in. Try and get ribs further inside the thighs. Those ribs inside groin. Feet can roll open a little. Roll to the pinky side of the feet to open hips more. And then put blocks down. Roll it back up. Good. How are we doing? Yeah? Good. All right. Go ahead and come off your blocks. And move the blocks off the mat. There we go. All right. We are going to go into... do one more thing here. All right, let's grab your orange bolster. Sit at the top of the mat. This way. Sideways. And grab the pads for the knees if you want. If you think your knees are going to go wider than your mat. Okay. The knees as wide as you can. Fairly comfortably. I mean, there should be a little stretch in the hips, but don't overdo it or your hips just hold against the stretch and this just sucks instead of feeling good. And then elbows on your bolster. Make that pretty long, pretty far out in front of you.
And you can go with me.
Your kneecap? There you go. I'll go. Yeah, if you go wider than that, it does not feel good without the pad. Okay. So, knees wide, tops of the feet on the mat for now, elbows on your bolster pretty far out in front. That's what makes it so you can drop your hips. If you're sitting too far back, it's really hard to drop into the stretch. So pretty far out in front. Okay, elbows on your bolster, hands flat into each other. Really press those thumb knuckles into each other. And then elbows pull apart, pick your ribs up. Suck the belly up. Inhale here. Exhale. Let your hips release. Sit hips back a little bit. Sit ribs back a bit. Reach the chest to the floor as you sit back as far as you can. Let your head drop through the arms to the mat. Keep a little pressure in thumbs. Thumb knuckles. Breathe. As you exhale, push down through the arms and elbows. Pick up your ribs a little bit. And then drop them back down. Let hips release more. One more time, push down through the elbows, pull elbows apart, push hands into each other, pick the ribs up, drop head down, let ribs release. There, and bring it back up. Very nice, bring your hands to the mat. And you can walk knees in. You want to use the pads, pull pads all the way down. Okay. All right, keep the knees touching or almost touching. Tuck the toes, inner feet touch. Okay. All right. And then elbows on your bolster, it's pretty far out in front. Hands open. This time make sure your elbows are a little forward on the bolster, inch or two forward from the edge, so that you can bend the elbows and the elbows would still be on there. Okay, then come forward. Press down through your elbows, pull elbows apart, press that thumb knuckle into each other to engage your chest or your pecs and hollow the collarbone. Then take chin into your throat, top of the head forward and down. And keep rounding the spine evenly, long arc in the spine. Inhale. Exhale, lift up the middle abs a little more. Think of your knees as pulling the mat horizontally apart. Sitting bones open, knees open, and lift belly up higher. Okay, then go ahead and sit back about halfway, just until you can fit your head through your arms and past your bolster. Try to get the head to the ground, all the way past the bolster. There we go. Good, now see if you can walk elbows a little forward and a little together. Maybe they're already good. Bend your elbows, hands stay in that squished and open feeling. Hands come all the way to thoracic spine. Bring them all the way back. Good. Let your hips release. Reach the hips back. Breathe. Knees pull open a little bit on the mat so pubic bone can reach back through the groin. Okay, press down through knees a little. Press down through elbows. Pick your ribs up. Your head will come up, round the spine, round the spine. Push through elbows more. Pick ribs up. Don't use hips so much. Inhale. Hands press into each other, especially thumb knuckle to engage your chest. Elbows pull apart, ribs suck up. Now think of shrugging shoulders to ears. Then pull shoulders back, let your head drop deeper. Let your hips release again, all the way back. Hands to the thoracic spine. Breathe. One more breath here. Good. And then press down through elbows again. Elbows pull the mat apart, hands press into engage chest, kind of drop the neck down, head long, and then release your hips all the way back. Last one. And then bring hands forward, bring your head back through the arms. You should feel a lot in chest, shoulders. Good, how we doing? Okay, let's bring the elbows a little back on the bolster so you feel like you're pushing the bolster forward a touch. You can interlace fingers now if you want. Try to line up your thumbs like a volleyball player and squish those thumb knuckles into each other. That helps you engage the chest. Drop the chest back. Push through the feet. Lift the hips up. Try to bring your heels to the mat. Bring your head through your arms if it fits. Okay. And then think about hugging your left hip back a little bit further. Drop the left heel. The right knee can bend. Right hip can release a little bit. But keep the sitting bones back. Keep reaching through elbow. Then switch. When you drop your right heel, reach more through your left elbow. Think of that right hip dropping back further. Then switch. Left heel dropping, right elbow reaching. And switch. Keep the head dropped, release the neck. And switch. Good. Both heels reach down. Pick your ribs up in line of spine, drop the head back. And then bring the knees down to the mat. Sit back all the way to the heels, stretching. Your hands can release and hold on to the bolster if it's easier. Keep the toes tucked so you're stretching the feet too. Find your breath. Two more. Last breath here. And bring it up. Okay. All right, let's turn around and have a seat on the mat. Move the pads out of the way. Okay, if you know you're tight in your low back, you can sit on a block for this. Put the back of your hips on a block. If not, you try it first, have your blocks nearby. We're going to put your bolster under the upper back instead of your ball. Lay back over the bolster. Hands behind the head, lay let your neck wrap around the bolster, legs can extend in front of you. So your head just barely hangs off the back. The bolster pretty much follows the curve of the neck. Okay? And then let legs round out. Elbows up to the ceiling. Hands pull the head up. Keep your ribs open, don't let them close. Once you're up, then let your ribs drop in. Keep the pubic bone forward, no tucking. And then drop back again, let your head drop back. Let your ribs pull open here. If you're finding that that stretch is easy, you can just, or if you find that stretch is hard, you can lay the arms back and just let ribs open, feel that little upper back bend. You want to go deeper, slide up your pillow until your shoulders can touch the mat almost, or do touch. Okay, if you feel that in your low back, that's too much, or you can put the hips on your block here. So if you feel your low back too much, put the hips on the block, and then the shoulders can drop back, and you get your little upper back bend that way. You can let legs go straight, or keep the knees bent. Keeping the knees bent may make it easier for you to protect your low back. It's up to you. Okay. You don't need the block. You can take it away. It may feel good. Inhale. Let the ribs open. Exhale very softly. Pull your ribs down. Inhale. Let the ribs open more. Exhale. Draw them in a little. Bring the hands to the back of the head. If your knees aren't already tented, bring the knees up to tented now. Elbows up. Shoulder blades pull into your pillow. If that doesn't happen, this will hurt your low back if you're not on a block. Pull just your head up. Don't close your ribs yet. You should feel a neck stretch here. The chin is in and back. Your neck is reaching back into your hands. Ribs open. And then drop all the way back. Do it again. Hands pull the head up. The chin is dropped back. Neck back, heavy in the hands. Shoulder blades down, away from the back of the neck, away from the ear. Middle abs softly drop. Bring your head up a little further.
You're not lifting your shoulders, you are.
Shoulders are lifted down. Or the shoulders off the mat. If that's not feeling good, put that block under hips or lift hips a little. And let it drop back over the bolster. Let the ribs open. If your hips are up, let them drop. If you've got your block, let it release into the block. One more time. Shoulder blades pull down into your pillow. Bring just the head up. Shoulder blades are off the ground, but they're into the pillow. Then middle abs can pull in. Again, if it's in your low back, that's not good at any point. Your hips should be on a block, or you can lift them up without tucking them. Okay, round as far forward as you can. Again, hips on block if this isn't working for you. So you can round a little further forward. And then lay all the way back. Good. If you have a block under the hips, here, get rid of it. Walk your feet in. Slide up your bolster a little bit. More shoulders on the mat. Push bolster just a little bit down. So now it's running from the ribs all the way to tailbone. Tailbone is fully supported now. You're not hanging off the front of the bolster anymore. Are we there? I'm going to move down the mat. My head is on the wood. So your head is off the top of your mat. I'm going to move down. Go ahead and do that. Okay. So bolster's under ribs, and it runs all the way down to tailbone. You're not hanging off the front anymore at all. Hips are fully supported by your bolster. Shoulders apart, chin down so your neck is long into the mat. Bring one leg in at a time. Hands hold ankles, pull your feet toward each other. And then inner spiral arms, so biceps face in, and your elbows can push out on the knees. As elbows push out, make that come from serratus, underneath the arms, where the ribs are, under the armpit. That's what pushes out. Don't try to do it from the neck. Okay, so elbows pressing out. Hands end up pulling in real soft from the bicep a little bit. Mostly you're worried about knees going out. Then turn your feet out a little. Rock over to the left. Let's do the left side more. Elbow pushes knee wide. There should be a big triangle of space between the leg, the arm, and the body. Okay, go the other way. Right elbow pushes knee wide. Turn the foot out. Come to the middle. Both elbows push the knees apart. Feet turn out. At the same time, unroll the hips. Try to use low belly to drop hips forward a little. Chin down, neck is long, breathe. Go ahead and bring the hands inside legs and then underneath heels. Let go of the right leg. Keep your left heel aimed up to the ceiling. Don't let it drop forward. That kills the stretch. If you pull hard enough on the left leg, the right leg wants to follow. So you use that left leg, left hand, really squeezing as an anchor for the hip. Then you reach the right leg forward, right arm back. Getting long on the right side. Breathe. Really reach through that right big toe. Try to fan out your right toes. Let your left glute go. Opening the left knee. Bring your right arm to the ceiling. Both shoulders roll up a little. Let the hip release more. Really. Then bring the right leg back in. Right arm under leg, handcuffs heel. Left leg goes forward. You're going to feel that right heel push up into the hand as this leg gets heavy. Don't lose the hand. Don't tighten the shoulder in. Use the serratus. You can even rock a little bit to your right to open that right leg more. Reach your left arm. Think of your left palm facing to midline. Left leg on midline, and those two lengthen away from each other on that midline. Breathe. As you exhale, bring your left arm to the ceiling. Unsquish your right ribs if you had squished them. Pull that right shoulder up a little. Release the glutes. Let your ribs drop deeper into the mat. And bend the left knee back. Good. All right, bring the hands to your knees now. Feet are released. Feet should be aimed in a little bit with knees out. Let all the weight of the low body rest in your hands. So if I were to let go, legs would drop, okay? All the weight of the legs resting in my hands. That pulls the shoulder blades down the body for me. Pulls my shoulders out of my ears. Roll shoulders back, ribs open, inhale. As you exhale, let your ribs fall in a little, but let the hips release heavier forward. Spine longer, core longer. One more like that. Inhale, roll shoulders back. Exhale, ribs drop. Hips drop. Release the feet. Good. Bring your legs in. All the way in. One leg at a time to the mat. Push the bolster all the way down to the tip of your tailbone. So it's going to make a little round in your lumbar spine. Bring the knees back in. And knees are open, feet are in. Just use the hands to move your hips. Don't let hips come together and stay stuck. Use hands to pull knees open. Left hand pulls left knee wide. Let your foot hang out to the left. Keep your right elbow out to the side, pulling right knee back to the right. So hips separate. Middle abs sink a little. Go back the other way. Use that right arm to pull right leg right. Right foot hangs out to the right. Belly sinks. Left elbow wide. And punch in the middle. Good. Get rid of your bolster. Put it all the way down to calves, or nothing if you don't want anything for your corpse pose. Calves over, bolster, legs roll out to the sides. Inhale, arms up and back. Let your ribs open. Feel your shoulder blades in the mat. Soft arms, and as your arms drop back, if your shoulder blades stay heavy in the mat, the ribs get lifted. At the same time, sink low belly a little bit so you don't arch low back too. Inhale here. Exhale, try to let your ribs release in and your arms reach back without tucking hips. Good. One more breath. Inhale, ribs pop open. And exhale. Stop. Put your arms wherever you want for your corpse pose. If overhead is comfortable, even there. If not, you can put them to your side with the palms facing up. So let the eyes roll back into the back of the head and the middle of the forehead where the third eye lives. That should help you release some of the muscles in the head, neck, and face. Try to feel a horizontal spreading across the brow, and spreading across the bridge of the nose, across the jawline, across the base of the tongue, between the ears, base of the skull. One more long but soft inhale. Continue the breath, but don't pull air in. And then exhale, equally long, equally soft. Release. Let go of any breathing technique. You can stay on the body for gripping muscles and try to release them. and then 5-year rest. Take a few more breaths here. Turn on for a little bell over here. When you're ready, start deepening the breath again. Soft, long inhale. Soft, deep exhale. On your next breath, open fingers, try to fan and spread toes. Hold the air in, low belly sinks, ribs open a little. Bring arms up and back when you're ready. Think of your ribs opening more, low belly sinking as your anchor so your low back doesn't arch. And then as you exhale, point toes, roll the feet in, close fists. Ribs pull down, everything closes. Inhale, everything opens. Turn feet out, fan toes, open hands. Exhale, roll everything in. Last one, inhale, open. Hold, chin down a little, and then as you exhale, let everything release. To come up, you can either roll to one side, stacking hips, stacking ribs, stacking knees, and then make your way up. Or, if you'd rather, you can bring the arms forward, chin to the chest, pull the core back, and slowly roll up, reintegrating the body. Once you're up, knees can drape open over bolster, and legs sitting bones apart over the bolster. And roll it up. Okay. We'll finish with an O. If you want to sit on the bolster, you can to have it higher. Otherwise, find any comfortable seat. And take your lotus or half lotus, log stacking, just cross-legged, whatever works. Okay? Alright, sitting bones are apart. You gotta be in a position where it's easy for you to be upright. Your hips aren't so tight they're throwing you back. Okay, so find that shape. And then you're gonna inhale, let the ribs expand. Keep a soft but long breath as you take your inhale. Hold the breath for a second at the top. And then you're gonna start your Om with jaw forward a little bit. Sound. So you release facial muscles. Then go to your O, keep the facial muscles long, save enough breath for to vibrate through your core as you empty lungs. And then think of trying to lift pelvic floor and flare ribs if you've got enough breath at the end. Don't kind of gasp for air after that. Same spiel every time, you'll get used to it if you haven't heard it yet. Here we go. Inhale, soft, look long. Om. come into prayer in the third eye. Drop your head in, let your low back release back. Round the spine one last time, sealing your practice. Thank you very much for coming. Good job, ladies.
Thank you, excellent.
All good?
Especially over my back and my opening my lungs, and I hardly cough.
I know, yeah, that's good though, you're getting it out.